Shortlist is a specialist technical recruiter. We provide staff to companies across the United Kingdom and United States, specifically software engineers, data science specialists, product delivery experts. So the team is 19 strong and we're based in the heart of Chester in the UK. We've got offices in Austin, Texas and Dallas also to serve the markets out there. So we travel out typically every 2 to 3 months on a rotation basis. We use Zoho for both UK and US teams. They're both on the same platform and it works really well. I think I was looking for a company that was sizable, was progressive, was constantly evolving the product set. There's that continuous delivery aspect to what they do with the products. There's always new features coming in. When I set up Shortlist just over 10 years ago actually, and looking at different types of recruitment software, cost was a factor. You know, I'd set up on my own and I needed to look at somebody who's cost effective but did everything I needed. I have at times looked at other platforms to see. Bullhorn was a good example, which was an industry darling for many years. And around 2018, when GDPR was coming in, I did evaluate Bullhorn as a comparison to Zoho Recruit, but the licensing was coming at about 3 times the monthly cost per head, plus integration costs. And when I actually really drilled down at the time on the GDPR offering, it was no better than what Zoho had. And in fact, Zoho's offering was more stable and was more well thought out. What was that, 5 years ago? And I've not considered changing since. Recruit is kind of the bedrock of our organization, really. Recruit is our main repository for all our data. From a business development perspective, from a process perspective, and administration from my side, it makes it really simple. I can segment the candidates and clients fairly easily, and the teams can share information quite easily as well. From an access perspective, we've just had 2 of the team just come back from Dallas last week, and they've worked seamlessly with Zoho Recruit while they were on the ground in Dallas. I've never had any issues in terms of security or access. The expansion to the US was made far easier with Recruit as well. We can modify time zones for my US team, but other than that, they're all in the same data repository. We can just segment data out. I guess speed and performance was one of the key factors of why I chose Zoho Recruit. In previous recruitment firms, I'd worked with other systems. A colleague I'd used in a previous firm. Very powerful, but very slow. And typically a candidate search could take anywhere up to 2 or 3 minutes to complete from pressing go. It was so frustrating to work with, trying to motivate teams to use that. Recruit has always had very good performance standards. You will get a call, can come in now, you've got to pull up candidate or client details there and then, and it's there instantly. There's a saying in our industry of that time kills all deals, and it's true. You can miss out on a placement by a matter of minutes, and having those details available, ready to go, easy to access, easy to find and categorize is critical for us. Yeah, we've had instances where we've beaten other agencies by a matter of minutes. I think the fastest, was about 90 seconds to another candidate. I can't stress enough that the speed and performance is a big aspect for us, because we do run some quite complex searches, some quite long Boolean strings. The importance of getting results back instantly is key. The days, like I said, where we used to have to wait 2 or 3 minutes for other tools to bring back the results. But we use the waiting for evaluation tag quite intensively. So that is our way of saying this person is of interest and they must be contacted. But the waiting for eval shift for us was a game changer, because we were losing business through just distractions in the team, not being thorough enough on the jobs. So my managers can look at any job opening, jump into the waiting for evaluation pool and speak to the consultant about, okay, why are these right? Why do you like them? What are we doing to get hold of them? And it was a game changer. Reliability was the second key factor behind speed and performance. And I can modify and customize to suit as well. So where we've come up against some business challenges, so for example, during COVID in the US, we had some clients stipulate that pre-interview candidates needed to have had their vaccinations. So I was able to quite quickly go in and create new custom fields and checkboxes on our candidate records for the US to stipulate whether or not they'd had their vaccinations. So that level of customization took us 10 minutes to discuss, 5 minutes to implement, done. Again, I think if I'd been using some other vendors and suppliers, it might have taken 2 or 3 weeks and cost quite a bit to do. So one thing I love about Recruit is that flexibility and ability to customize it quite quickly. One of the other, business challenges it's helped with is being able to tag and create custom tags against candidates and contacts. So if we see new product areas emerge, what we can start to do is put custom tags against customers in those fields, so we can quickly bring them up to talk to, but also to extract that data through to our direct marketing platform. So any custom tags we put against contacts or candidates are pushed through to our direct marketing platform within seconds. So I can then create custom campaigns off the back of that to say, right, for this new technology area, I want a specific campaign to go to those people. I'd say that, I guess based on my experience, Zoho Recruit has all the functionality they will need. When I've reviewed other systems that were supposedly bigger and better, I would say some of those additional features were spurious. They just won't use them. You need things simple, straightforward and fast for it to be effective. Having lots of extra frilly bits on the sides sounds great, but they just won't use them. That's the reality. We've probably remolded and reshaped the screens quite a few times, again, which is great to be able to do that in Recruit. I can just go into any module, any layout screen, change it to how I want. Even if we're seeing that if it speeds up a telephone call by 10 to 20 seconds, that can be a game changer for us. And it might be looking at how the consultant is having to navigate around to get stuff done. So being able to modify the layout, it's immediately out for everyone, again, has been quite important. In the world of software development, you may have heard of agile software development methods. With agile, you will set out an outline of pretty much roughly what you're looking to do, but you accept the fact the journey might be a bit of a zigzag. And every 2 weeks you will review your objectives that you've set to see, right, where do we get to in the last 2 weeks? What do we keep? What do we get rid of? What do we do more of? What do we less of? And then you go for another 2 weeks, or these short sprints. Where Recruit comes into play with that is that we can see metrics, we can pull metrics as we need to underpin that sprint reporting. We have incentives as well, so if people are at certain levels of green status with their sprints, they can leave early on a Friday, say 2 p.m. Equally, if they're struggling on a particular area, it allows us to pick up patterns and trends and then go back into Recruit and drill down on, okay, why is this taking far longer than it should? To the extent now we even share our sprint status with clients. So if I'm working with a particular client and we're having real difficulty filling a particular position for them, and I can see that my consultants are really struggling, I'm seeing lots of red on my dashboard with our sprints, I will then drill down into Recruit and CRM to look at the data to see where the issue might be in the blockage, and then talk to the client about it and say, look, this is all the time we're burning. We're doing everything we think is right. Come talk to us, come and help us with this on how we remedy it. So for that visibility, it's been really good. What we were seeing prior to using that was someone might be tracking quite well through a job and reviewing candidates. They get an issue on their desk, something happens, they need to go and deal with that for an hour or a day. When they come back to working that original job, they'd lost track of where they were up to. I should mention we use the SMS integration as well, which is another big factor for us. It's kind of taken as granted now, the team don't make a fuss about it at all, but once you've got your waiting for evaluation pool identified, we can then get bulk text out seamlessly. And we use Message Media as the Zoho approved partner, and that means that any responses coming back are tracked in the candidate's notes, so we can see what's happening. So the text aspect, again, is a critical part for us, because phone calls and emails don't have a great return rate, but text will always work really well, especially with our candidate base, who are mainly software engineers, who may be busy, might not be able to take calls at their desk when they're in office, but they can respond to a text. Zoho Cliq is quite integral for our chat communications, and the fact that meshes seamlessly with Recruit is key. So if we're sharing information across the team, we'll use Cliq to share profiles. And it's really useful with my UK and US teams work different hours. And sometimes if I'm out of office or I'm traveling, and one of the team can share information with me on Cliq and with a reference straight into Zoho Recruit or CRM. So that's really useful. A day in the life of a recruiter can be quite chaotic, can be quite random at times. You can plan your day to really fine detail, but then just things can change, things can happen, because we're placing individuals who can change their minds in with companies, with hiring managers who equally their situations can change. It's quite fluid. So one thing we recognized, and this was probably 4 or 5 years ago when we first started using Cliq, was consultants are spending a lot of their time in the day sifting through emails, getting distracted was probably the key thing. And it was a game changer for us with Cliq in that we can separate channels out for different types of communication. So general team updates for events, things happening, non-critical information can go out on that channel and the team know I can read it when I'm ready. Critical one-to-one information can go out as well. We use it to celebrate as well. So if we've secured a deal or a new client, the celebrations will go out through Cliq on a specific deal channel with that. Again, rather than clogging everyone's inboxes with lots of emails and everyone's congratulating each other, it just creates so much noise. I think on a typical day, I can get anywhere from 200 to 400 emails. So for me, it was critical for me to cut that down and noise with the team. So Cliq's integral. The fact it's easy to use on my mobile as well when I'm out and about. It was, I guess for the cost benefit on it, it was a no-brainer. Cliq is quite handy because if you need to get a quick message to one person, I don't have to go up and interrupt them or whatever.
We didn't use Cliq when I first joined. We used email for communication, but actually internally Cliq is really useful to keep the noise down in your inbox with your emails. So that's been good actually, that was a good change. So it means that the emails that come into my inbox are candidate and client focused rather than if someone does a deal in the office, then there's a big sort of hoo-ha on Cliq about it and there's sort of GIFs and all sorts goes on there. If that was through email previously, but then you'll get a load of emails through and maybe miss something from a client or a candidate. I'll have kind of pinned contacts with everybody in the office and then there might be a group, say for a group of managers for a particular team, so you can communicate. It's quite easy to set up a little group as well. It keeps you sort of separate private chats and then we'll have a whole company chat and we'll have obviously our individual channels as well. You can hear someone on a phone call and it might be a candidate, but it's your client. The role that they're applying for is with your client. You can kind of quickly send a message and amend what they're saying if something's not quite right, or if somebody maybe needs a little bit of help with the conversation they're having, you can message through Cliq and get that message to them straight away. So especially with trainees, it's quite helpful for that because they get distracted if you try and talk, so it's sort of but text comes up in front of them instead.
We use Zoho CRM quite closely in conjunction with Recruit. My USA team have used Zoho CRM layered over Recruit for 2 to 3 years now, but probably not used it to its full potential in the way it's intended. I've recently hired a business development manager to cover the UK and US, and we spent her first 3 months really getting to grips with Zoho CRM and its potential and how it integrates. And I think we've got quite a slick model working with that now, whereby my business development team will work through incoming leads and potentials. Once we classify someone as moving from potential status to account, that triggers a whole sequence of actions which then puts that account live both on CRM and integrated data through to Recruit. So it goes live on Recruit at the same time, so the team can see that account go live. There's also triggers that push that data through to our direct marketing platform, Force24, which means that if I signed you up as a new client now and triggered your status change to that of contact, basically within 60 seconds you'd have an email in your inbox from us which would start you on a sequence of automated emails. Typically, we may send 8 to 9 engagement emails over the first month. So that level of automation has been really key for us. My business development manager, she is incentivized and her commission based on activity in that pipeline, and I use the figures from that pipeline data in CRM as for her KPIs and her measurement. And it's great, it's very easy to quickly see where she's at, what's transitioning through. Well,
because we're a tech agency, so if people come in with no tech experience, that's a big part of the learning to be done here. So people have to learn the tech, they have to learn the process of the job. So we've got a whole CRM system to learn as well. I've used quite complex CRM recruitment systems before and have never mastered what they can do because there's just long ways around of doing things, multiple ways of doing things. And what I actually liked about Zoho was that it wasn't really like that. It was pretty easy, pretty straightforward to use.
So we use Zoho People as part of the integrated package. It's straightforward, it does what it says it does, from things like leave booking where we had a manual process was a pain. This is great. We use multi-stage approval between the managers before it gets to me, so it's nice and visible, everyone can see where we're at. The reports are easy to get off the system. As a HR professional, to go in and customize leave rules and work those out is actually quite straightforward to do. And all our new starter information goes on to Zoho People, all our key documentation as well to track for new starters.
Log any sick leave on to Zoho People, so there is a record. It is used for recording any absence or compassionate leave. There's options for a few different things.